Well, today we're going to be looking at some more Mego figures and doing a bit of a tidy up and restoration. It's not going to be a heavy restoration, just repainting basically and cleaning gunk, years of gunk. So a little bit of a history to these figures. So Mego had brought out their comic action Heroes range, which was a range of 3 3/4 figures. You'll probably recognise them. I put a photo here, but they had bent legs. They were very strange figures, but really I used to love them as a kid. They didn't stand up very well. You had to have a heavy duty stand supplied with each figure, and they came in individuals, or you got these wonderful gift sets like the Batmobile gift set, or Wonder Woman Invisible Jet. They were great, and I don't think they must have been too expensive, because I certainly had a few sets when I was a kid, and we weren't a particularly rich family, so they must have been fairly affordable. And then in 1979 Mego changed it up a bit, and they renamed the line Pocket Superheroes, because there was superheroes you could fit in your pocket, which sounds a bit dubious now. And they changed it so that they were slightly cheaper construction, and they changed the bent legs, which weren't very successful, and had a really weird pelvic joint that probably costs a lot more. They had like this rubbery groinal area. I mean, there's still toys we're talking about here. So they changed them to straight leg, as you can see here. And then Wave 1, I think it was 79 they came out, included characters from the Christopher Reeve Superman 1, Superman 2 series. And what was really interesting, Mego paid for the likenesses for the actors' faces, which was unusual for Mego. For sort of superhero stuff, most of their superheroes was very generic, if you think of the 8-inch line. So they paid for the likenesses, but not for the costumes, which is like, it's really weird in today's marketing age where everything's sort of tied together, that you could just buy the likenesses but not the costumes. So they put them in generic costume, comic inspired costumes, which evidently at the time didn't appeal to kids. The sculpting on the bodies for the 3 villains is basic as well, compared to, I'll show you, compared to the range proper. So these 3 villains only ever came out in Wave 1, which means they're pretty hard to get hold of. They're not worth a huge amount. I think the most Superman's going over. He's gone. The most I paid for the villains, I think, was a tenner. I think Lex Luthor was like a couple of quid from a toy fair. I think Jor-El was probably about 6 or 7 quid, and then this one I think I just paid a tenner for on eBay, and it was basically because he just doesn't come up General Zod, and this one came up and he's really ratty condition paint wise, but I thought, we can repaint him, we can do a little repainting video. So if you look at the construction of this, is the Superman wasn't based on Christopher Reeve. This was the top mouldings from the comic action series, and then when the Christopher Reeve ones come out, they just left it the same, so it doesn't look much like Christopher Reeve. It's a generic Superman. The 12-inch range for these, they did a 12-inch range as well. The face sculpts are just amazing. They're really expensive to get hold of. You do not see them at all. So you can see there's a little bit of discoloration because different plastics used, and not a lot can be done about that, and I don't want to repaint it. So you had things like plastic capes, rubberized sections, waist turn, the belt was always a separate colour, separate piece. Very little paint apps usually on these. It was generally they would do it in colour. Good face sculpt. Again, that weird Mego thing of never painting the eyes in, like they did on their Black Hole and Star Trek figures. So really nicely constructed figures, good fun, hardy, last forever. So you can get the main superheroes pretty easily. But then the villains, you can see much simpler construction. So it's standard Star Wars 5 points, feels not as good a plastic, and it's very basic colours and then very basic paint apps. The faces, I don't know if you can get a good look, so it's a real good Gene Hackman sculpt. If you want to do a Gene Hackman action figure, you get one of these heads and mould it. So, and then you've got Jor-El, so Marlon Brando. I doubt there was many Marlon Brando action figures. You can see the basic, it's really basic sculpting on these. So if you was a kid and you were, you had a little bit of pocket money and you saw him on the shelf, would you rather have dynamic, great Superman or old Marlon Brando? I could have been a contender. And the one I got this time was Terrence Stamp's General Zod. Not as good a likeness. I mean, there's a bit of Terrence Stamp in there, but it could be generic man with beard. I mean, it might be better once we've painted him and cleaned him up. And as you can see, he's filthy. He's got some gunk in his eye. All the paint's come off, so we're going to repaint all of that. He's got a gun for some reason. He's a superhero and he's got a gun, which is strange. I don't remember the film one having a gun. So we're going to redo him. You can even see the construction on the necks. The heads don't fit in very well. But then it's a nice little set from the Superman films. Again, the same problem with these figures that they had with the comic superheroes is they don't stand up very well. And you can see, especially Zod, he's pigeon-toed. Look at him. So what I use is those craft dots I just put under the foot, and then they stand up for a bit. Little collector's tip for you. So what we're going to do, we're going to relocate to the painting room. That's where all my paints are. And I'm a bit lazy today. And we're going to clean him up, probably with some light fluid, or might need something a bit stronger. And then we're going to repaint him. I might touch up Superman as well. Not in that way. Dirty-minded people. I don't know though. I quite like the fact that he's been played with. Some kids loved Superman. It's getting worse, isn't it? But let's go and repaint them. Okay, so going to do some cleaning first. So I've got some Q-tips, and I've got three types. We've got bog standard, stick them in your ear, twisty. Got pointed. I get these from Superdrug. I don't know whether they're just their brand, but they're quite good. Get pointed and a bit more solid. And then I got these ones that are tiny. They're great for eyeballs and things like that. So what we're going to do is use some lighter fluid to start with. Ooh, getting low. Not that much left. And we're just going to see if we can get some of the gunk off of General Zod. Start with a full one. So that's how we go. And we're not worried too much if it takes the paint off. It shouldn't, but if it does, we're going to repaint him. It's more trying to get the gunk out of his eyeballs. Screw it in, you can see there's a bit of dirt coming off it. Gonna need a, use one of my tiny ones. And just use a screw motion. It's blue, so it's whatever it was. It could be blue pen. You see that's coming off, some blue ink on it. Also got a stain or something on his cheek. Ah, it's coming off. I reckon someone's tried to colour in his eyes. Give him a bit of soul. It's coming off, so let's use another one. I might have to get a needle point or something, just, I don't know. So if I can't get it out of the one eye, I might have to just do something with the other eye, otherwise he's going to have a bit of gamminess going on. I'm hoping just soak it and it will come out. It's just a twisting motion in his eye. So most of it's come out now. Just getting into his socket, deep in the socket. That's pretty much all come out. I'm just going to carry on with that and then we'll come back. It's not very interesting seeing me poke Zod in the eye. Okay, so pretty much all come out. There's a slight blue tint or light blue tint to the plastic where it's discoloured it. Not a lot we can do about that. But he's now got two clear eyes, so he can hunt for the son of Krypton. There he is. So what we're going to do is touch up the black paint, do the hair first and then the body, and it's sort of glossy black. It's not quite gloss black, not quite satin. So I'm going to use a Baden, see what that looks like. But that's what we're going to do first. Good thing about these, once you've used them, you can stir paint with the other end. I'm just going to stir that and get my little brush. There we go. He's not too bad, to be honest. It's mainly on the beardy area. Don't want to go too far on it because they were never wonderfully painted. Weird thing with these ones as well, they did paint the eyebrows. They didn't paint the eyes, but you got eyebrows. There's a cat hair on my brush. There we go. While I'm at that, I'm going to touch up Superman's hair just on the front. I might have to do a bit of varnish on Superman because he's got more matte finish. He obviously doesn't use his Brill cream like Zod does. There we go, just touch it up, that looks good. Touch up his S. Just kiss curl S on his hair. There we go. Then we're going to paint the uniform. Probably have to do all over on this because it's hit and miss. So that's gone on quite nicely. So I'm going to finish the uniform. The red is not really red, it's more of a salmon pinky red. So what I'm going to use is Bugman's Glow, which is a salmony pinky colour, and then just a tad of Mephiston red just to bring it back up, and then touch that up. So once we'll do that, I'll finish this. This stripe seam away, there's a lot to do on the back as well, and then we can come back and see what they're like. Okay, so I've touched up Zod. Came out very well, I thought. Didn't need a lot. As I thought, the Bugman's Glow and red did that salmon pink colour really nicely. I touched a bit of Superman's hair. I didn't bother trying to touch up the purple on Luthor's boots because that would be really hard to match. And I quite like a little bit of scuffing on a toy. Just shows it's been played with, gives it a bit, what's the Antiques Roadshow thing they say, patina. Gives it a bit of patina. So let's just have a look. He's not quite dry, so let's go that way. Let's have a look at him. So you can see it came out, and it did that sort of weird, not quite matte, not quite gloss by itself. So I was quite happy with that. The face looks good. The gun holster came out really nicely. I was quite pleased with that. I thought it wouldn't match, but it pretty much, the first bit I mixed matched perfectly. So now I've got a set of 4 from Superman, Superman 2. Sadly they didn't do any more because evidently, you stay there. Evidently they sold really badly. They were the worst sellers of the entire range. Which is strange because normally the villains sell quite well. But things were different in the 80s, weren't they? It's like the Indiana Jones set where Indiana Jones sold out immediately and no one wanted the villains. Perhaps it was the same thing, everyone wanted to be Superman. Perhaps we're in a darker time now where everyone wants to be the villain rather than the actual hero. But I think a nice little set of figures, like so you can pick them up fairly cheaply. Superman you can pick up really easily, seem to be made in great quantities. Luthor seems to be the easiest to pick up. Zod seems to be the hardest, and Foley Overman is sort of middling, but you don't see them that often. But when you do, they're just not particularly expensive. So yeah, so nice little set. I'm glad I got a full set now, though. I'll do a little display on one of my shelves for them. And then I might try and get some of the bent leg comic scenes, but the thing with them is, because their groin was like a soft rubbery plastic, it tends to split and break and perish, so there's not that many good condition ones about, and the ones that are quite expensive. But I wouldn't mind a Spider-Man, or even a Superman. The Batman and Robin were quite, because of the way they used minimal paint apps. Robin especially looks very strange with completely bare arms. He's like he's in a tank top. But yeah, I'll see if I can pick up some. But if you want to see more of these style restoration videos, I haven't done many recently. But if you want to see them, let me know. There's quite a few videos coming up. I've got a bit of a modelling kick on at the moment. So not only am I doing stuff for the channel, I do stuff for myself. So I'm doing like the space shuttle. Because I went to NASA. That's a mess, my room. I need to tidy my room. Don't judge me. It's messy. It's so messy, even Maggie's gone into the main room. She doesn't want to be in here with me. So I might have a tidy up today. But anyway, enough of my Sunday afternoons. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you can, if you want to. Or if you want to do me a favour, I'd be gratefully received. And I'll see you next time. Thanks then. Bye.